Welcome back to Contract Master, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about a very sad topic. We're going to be talking about getting fired. It's going to happen. As a contractor or freelancer, your odds of getting fired are far higher than your employees' counterparts. Unfortunately so. If the company decides that they need to, do a budget cut, you're first on the table, my friend. And the reason for that is because basically you are a mercenary. A programming mercenary going from town to town, corporation to corporation, fulfilling some role that they already have planned for you. And the moment that you are not useful to them anymore, or you cost them money, you're out of there. But, I don't think employees are that much more protected. However, in our case, we want to use this risk to our advantage, and hopefully the job that you got that has this amount of risk also has a lot of reward to it. But aside from that, let's get back to getting fired. Getting fired sucks. Getting fired makes you feel bad, makes you feel sad. And also, you lose money, which is more important. You don't have the monetary security that you had before, and now you are, stuck in a rut. But there are other consequences to it other than the obvious. So I'm going to be going that, and then I'm going to be going over how to help you get out of the rut of getting fired and propel your career further. Because when you get fired, you might think it's the end of the world at the time. Hopefully you don't, because it is not. It is just simply a bump in the road. It is just simply a fact of life that you will encounter, most likely. So, let's get over the consequences of getting fired. Apart from the obvious, not having the money, and apart from the feeling of sadness you're gonna feel, let's just go over that before I go on to the next thing. That feeling of sadness that you'll feel, that has nothing to do with the money. It has to do with you getting rejected. You got rejected by a corporation, and it feels bad. If this is the reason why you feel sad, don't. Because at the end of the day, as contractors and freelancers, all corporations are to you. All employment is to you. It's just a source of money. Do not get attached to these corporations at all. If you find a better opportunity than the one that you're in, you take it. That is how you propel your career. You have to have that mindset that even though, you might enjoy your income source for now, it isn't permanent. And you're going to have to find a new source of income sometime in the future. It's just how it goes. Because the minute that the budget says that you need to be cut, you will be cut. There is no loyalty from your corporation towards you. It's only whatever's on the contract. And then in the US, since everything's basically at will, you're going to get fired for one reason or another if push comes to shove. So don't be too sentimental is my advice to you. The next thing is the fact that you're going to have some gaps in your resume now because you got unemployed. It's going to take you a while to find that next job. So apart from you going to start interviewing right away, it's my ultimate advice, there's going to be some issues on your resume when you do start to go into the first 1 or 2 months. After that, it becomes a little bit harder for you to find jobs because companies are going to be looking over the gaps in your resume and then probably discarding the resume. Or if they do contact you again, they will ask you about this gap in time. Some companies are more sticklers than others when it comes to this, so it's just, that kind of sucks. So my solution when it comes to these gaps is that if it exceeds more than 2 months, I would start writing your own LLC as a way of filling the gaps. But I will also actually have proof that you did something. Use that amount of time in order to find certification. It takes time to study, it takes time to actually get the test. Or use it to build something that you can show off in your next resume. That way, you're not lying on your resume. I don't ever advocate lying, but you are working towards something, and technically you are working for yourself. So a company will be much more likely to look favorably upon a resume that shows that you are still trying to grow and learn rather than one that has remained idle. So remaining idle is about the worst thing you can do. And the next thing that's going to happen is that because you are now dipping into whatever resources you have left, you're going to be desperate to find another job. And my advice to you here is don't be desperate. The reason why I say this is because your desperation will dampen any negotiation skills that you might have and will make you take the first opportunity. If the opportunity is good enough, then sure, take it. But desperation kills your negotiation chances, and you have to start weighing the options better. So maybe you will get to a point where you decide any job is better than no job. That's fair. But if you're still in the early stages, then I would still negotiate as you would normally do, trying to get the best bang for your buck. Here's some things that you might not know when it comes to, when it comes to actually companies talking to each other about you, the reason why you can pull off the whole resume thing and the reason why you could go again and get another job a little bit easier than you might think is because corporations are not allowed to give too much information about their employees to each other. They are only really allowed to ask very specific questions about you when they come to get information. And the questions usually revolve around you, whether or not you exist, whether or not you work for them, and whether or not the timeline you gave them is accurate. I have not been privy to these conversations directly, but in some corporations, I've worked in open offices and you can hear everything. And there are some people that work for HR, some management that used to have these conversations, out in the open. And that's how they usually go. They're usually very straightforward questions and answers, usually yes or no. So when it comes to actually explaining why you have the resume gaps in your resume, you can be I don't advocate lying, but I also don't advocate just selling yourself in the wrong light. So try to find a very good way of putting it. You could, and if you don't know what the reason is, as usually when you get fired, sometimes they won't tell you what the reasons are. Just say you don't know. You don't know why you were fired. You thought you were doing a good job, and then the company let you go. You assume it could be a budget cut. It could be just a management changing their minds or something. But something that doesn't portray you in the wrong light. And also, do not ever complain. Do not go down the path of complaining that your employer did X, Y, or Z or something like that when you go for the new job. That will look very unprofessional for you, and then it will cast suspicion upon you, and suggesting that you may have the personality type to cause drama at work, and they're not going to go for it. So be truthful, be professional, and just try to explain things in the best light for you as possible. Don't outright lie, though. Obviously, I don't advocate lying, but I do advocate for you putting yourself in the best possible light. That's why I say that if you do have gaps in your resume, try to do the self-employment thing and get yourself certifications or improve your portfolio. Apart from that, the other option here is to continue interviewing. You never want to stop interviewing, especially when you get fired. It might feel really, really bad, and you might feel, that you don't want to do anything for a week or two. It happened to me. Don't fall into that rut. It's just a cycle that perpetuates itself. It's a mentality that gets stronger and stronger the more time you let it fester. So don't fall into that mentality. Take your day or two, take a chill pill, and start working on your plan to get back to work. If it goes on for too long, it gets a lot harder. Trust me on this. Apart from that, there's not really much more to it, really. It's all a matter of timing. It is a matter of timing. It is a matter of preparation. After you get fired, do you have a plan in place? Can you accomplish the things that I'm telling you to accomplish? And after that, you should be able to move on to your next job and then continue going forward as if you never got fired. It might seem permanent when you're in it, but I trust me on this, it is not a permanent situation, and you will get yourself out of it. Programming is a very, very in-demand job and will be in demand for years to come. So finding a job is either a matter of you changing tech stacks or a matter of you persisting on the one that you're in. And as always, make sure you have money saved up. Don't be in the worst situation possible as having no money and trying to find a job without any savings whatsoever. But, things happen, and I get that. And all I can say is I wish you luck, and I hope that this video helps you out. The advice here is very, very quick, but I thought I wanted to get to the point here instead of meandering along with stories and such in this video. So I wish you luck on your next endeavor. If you do get fired, please don't lose hope. Just continue trudging on forward, and I wish you the best. Contract Lancer out, and I'll see you next time. Like and subscribe.